banter. Balls and banter. No excuses, just win, win, win with your balls and banter. We got balls, we got pucks, we got sticks, we got everything in between. We got balls and banter.
All right, folks, it's Tuesday. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to the show. Sorry that we were not here Thursday. There are so many damn things going on behind the scenes at Bigger Red Beach Media. I got just engulfed in things, and I couldn't get here, so it's all on me. I apologize. But here we are today. We got a new friend stopping by on Thursday, which will be fun, introducing some new young blood to the team for Thursday's episode, so that'll be good. Tom's got Spider-Man Noir in the show notes, so I assume you want to talk about that. How are you boys, and what do you want to say about this new series involving Nicolas Cage?
Oh, have you seen it yet?
I have not.
Nate, have you?
I have not. I think I've seen one advertisement for it, and that's it.
To me, I really enjoy Nicolas Cage, and I really enjoy noir films. So I highly recommend this. It's a superhero movie, so you have to be in the right frame of mind for it. It's not your classical noir film, but I do like what they've done with it. They give you two options. You can either watch it in color or you can watch it in black and white, and I didn't know that. It in black and white.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was all, I mean, obviously they did it, they did it both ways, but I think it is cool that they did it traditional noir and it is in black and white. You can watch the whole darn thing that way. That's cool. I didn't know they did it in color, though.
Or is it theaters or streaming, or where can it be viewed?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
And it's a series, right? Not a film. It's like a...
Right, it's a series.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, Nick Cage was rumored to be a possible Superman candidate at one point, which I think would have been terrible. If I'm just being honest, I love Nicolas Cage. He's not a Clark Kent kind of a fella. But now he's found his way still into the DC universe with Spider-Man, I guess is maybe that's Marvel. That's Marvel. But he's, whatever it is, I don't know. He's found his way into one of those universes in a dark noir version of Spider-Man. I am looking forward to check it out. I just have not gotten to it yet.
Yeah, and he's not Peter Parker. He's kind of like an, chain-smoking, alcoholic private detective.
As only Nicolas Cage should be. All right, I'll check it out. Is it family friendly? Not family friendly? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, it's very family friendly. It's not. It's yeah. If you have younger kids, I don't see anything wrong with it. Of course, being streaming platforms the way that there are now, it's like, there's a little bit of violence. There's smoking. That's about it. I haven't noticed any language at all.
I tell you,
there's no adult scenes either.
That's all I look for with my kids is like they're used to it. Obviously we don't go overboard. Before anyone calls child services in the audiences, but it's like violence, cussing, and someone's drinking, and it's like, okay, that's fine. As long as there's not like racy, crazy sex scene, and really any sex scenes, then it's fair game for the kids. You get into that, then obviously, then it goes off the list until they're of the appropriate age. But that's good to hear. No, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I think this new movie, I saw a preview for The End of Oak Street. Is that what it's called? Anne Hathaway, Ewan McGregor. It's basically like Jurassic World hits a time machine movie, hits a small neighborhood in like the 80s. It kind of looks interesting. Did you see the preview for that, Nate?
I remember seeing a trailer for it and being like, what is going on in this movie? I feel like I was somewhere where I couldn't hear the audio or something. And I was just like, what is going on? Because the same thing. I'm like, is this a dinosaur movie? Is this like a time travel movie? Like, I had no idea where it was going.
Apparently, from the preview, I'm not giving away any spoilers because I don't know anything about it. But apparently from the preview, they somehow, I don't know what causes it, their street, their house, their street, we'll just say their street, gets transported back to, the dinosaur era, to to that era, but they're still on their street. Just all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of unwanted visitors roaming through, eating people, and the dinosaurs look good. The dinosaurs look like they're the freaking dinosaurs from the Jurassic movies. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. You got some good people in it, and they're trying to take on and defend their home, T-Rexes and Raptors with like shotguns and sticks. We'll see.
Some spears.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It's He-Man week. I'm going to get my gay on Friday. I can tell you that much. I'm going dressed as He-Man. You're going to see parts of my genitalia hanging out of the tight crotch thing that I'm wearing. I'm not going to bring a sword because I don't want to get arrested. I will have a gun because I always carry a gun at the theaters. But that's coming out. And I think, guys, I'm here to tell you, I know it's some 80s nostalgia. I know there's some gayness in it. I don't care. I'm looking forward to every minute of it. I'm going to have several beverages during the movie. I'm going to have some popcorn. I was asking my wife last night, I was like, this is a good question for you too, and for the audience. Chime in here. I know that we're 90 seconds ahead of you. What's a good 80s restaurant that's still alive and vibrant that I could take the family to? Obviously, they still have to be in the Jacksonville area, which is trickier because it depends on the region of the country that you live in. But what's a good 80s restaurant that we can go to either before or after the film to just take in all the 80s lore? I can't go to Orange Julius. We can't take the kids to get He-Man toys at KB Toys. We can't do that because the world sucks now. But where can we go? Like Red Lobster's mostly gone. Sizzler's mostly gone. There's no Bennigan's in Jacksonville.
Isn't Pizza Hut doing the throwback thing?
They are, but that one's not here yet. That's what my wife said. She was like, it's a shame that's not here. I'm like, it is a shame. And if it doesn't happen soon, then the Balls and Banter crew and Red Beach Media are going to buy some of them damn Pizza Huts and start them here.
That's my dream, baby.
That is the dream. We could be doing the show live from a Pizza Hut with someone like loading up Gertrude over there, loading up the salad bar. I kind of like what these guys are saying. She's had a pitcher of beer. She's pretty comfortable. We could. That would be so fun.
Man, Pizza Hut Taco Bell combo.
Tom doesn't like that. You're going to make him mad, Nate.
Oh, I didn't know.
He doesn't like combo restaurants.
Okay.
Not a fan. What time are you going to the movie?
4:30.
What day?
4:30 Friday.
4:30 Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I would do. I would take the family to Dick's Hamburgers because it has that old sort of nostalgic feel of like not the 80s, but I'm going back more toward like the mid 70s.
Yeah.
I would have kind of a snack there. Then I would go to the movie, and then after that, I would go to the new bowling alley in Jacksonville Beach. And then after that, I will stop by Witt's for some custard on the way home.
I think that you just solved the plan. And here's what I'm going to have to contend with. My wife's going to be like, isn't that too much? And I'm going to say, this is who you married. You expect it. Like, I like everything about that. This place here has great burgers. There's some other great burgers here at the beach. And they don't have this bag anymore. At least they didn't, as of recent. But like they literally will give you in their other locations. It started in Gainesville, which I'll give them a pass for, even though they're Gators. But it started there, and they give you a bag of hamburgers and fries, which are delightful. Tom orders them all the time for us here because he's naughty, and we eat them without any reservation or question whatsoever. But the original, they'd give you a bag, and it would say "bag of dicks" to give because it's Dick. I think it's technically Dick Mandel's.
Dick Mandel's, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm looking it up now.
It's pretty damn good. And I mean, I'm telling you, if somebody brings you a bag, like we talk about sending you a bag of dicks if we don't like you, we're not talking about Dick Mandel's. Those are good. If we send you a bag of his dicks, his burgers and fries, people who are like listening for the first time, like, what is this show? We're still figuring it out. We don't really know. But I can tell you this, they're delightful. They are delightful. I like that plan, Tom. I like the Beach Bowl option afterwards. And Wits. My kids will blow their mind over that. I can't wait to present that tonight at dinner. Here. Here is the plan for Friday. Now, everyone...
Gather around. Berquist family meeting. Everybody gather around.
Yes.
Daughter, get out your notebook and take the minutes.
Yes. I'll have my oldest daughter. She's got great penmanship. She's very organized. Okay, so now everyone knows exactly what I'm doing and where I'll be Friday in Jacksonville. So I'm going to have Shafi guarding the house and tighter security. Okay, let's get into some sports. Let's get into the show. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm going to be really honest. We're going to talk about this. I've watched a lot of highlights since. I'm searching this weekend for Sunday. There's also Clash in Italy, which we watched for WWE, which pretty good. Lots of rematches, but some good rematches. A really good card. If it was not all rematches and it was the first time you were seeing these, Clash in Italy was pretty darn good. Sol Ruca, that chick can do some crazy stuff, and she's beautiful. Another beautiful blonde doing some crazy stuff. She's like if you took Liv Morgan and Lita, and they had a baby, which is obviously not possible. And we don't condone that, although it's better than two guys doing it. But we don't condone that. But she's like the combination of them, and she's really good. Anyways, I'm watching that. I'm searching like, okay, now I want to watch, because we didn't watch that right when it started, so I want to put the race on. I like to sit out back, finish up some work. Yes, I have to work on Sunday. Yes, you're judging me. I'm judging me too, but I have to do it. So I like to sit out back and have a cigar and do some stuff and put a race on. I don't find it. Can't find it, and this stupid-ass brain of mine doesn't think to look on Prime. I'm like, oh, well, Nashville's coming up. Isn't Nashville today? It was. I couldn't find it, so I missed the whole damn thing. But it was a hell of a race on Amazon Prime. Nashville Speedway came down. You can see, this is a picture from the last lap. So you've got Denny Hamlin, who ended up going and getting the dub and getting the win. You've got Bell, you've got Briscoe. These guys are side by side damn near the whole final lap. Hamlin loses the lead at one point, gets it back, goes on to edge them all out for the dub, and is still, I believe, at this point in second place behind Reddick in the Cup standings for the year. But pissed that I missed it. Went back and watched lots of it. If you saw it, certainly you saw the crazy finish to it. It was a great finish. NASCAR riding high right now, having a hell of a year. NASCAR is obviously, you get a little bit of extra intrigue and momentum. I hate to even use those words after the tragic loss of Kyle, but they were having a great year. Then they nailed that. They knocked that out of the park. Fast forward to this. Drew misses the race because he's an idiot, but it was a good weekend. And man, I don't know if any of you guys saw the highlights, but that last lap, insane.
The last lap was insane, and it's another good finish for, the world of NASCAR and autosports in general, going back to the finish at the Indianapolis 500 last week. And what I'm taking away from this NASCAR season is right after we get past the NHL championship and the NBA finals, we come into this sort of summer doldrums where there really isn't anything going on. It's kind of like right after, it's like in between, like on Thanksgiving when you eat and then watch a couple of football games and you want to nap. It's kind of like that nap period for sports fans. But now we have NASCAR. And, we also have baseball, but baseball is just, it's a very nappy type thing for this time of the year. So what I'm looking forward to are more NASCAR events to fill that sports void until we, kick things back up in the fall with football.
Well, yeah, and they're like especially you guys are I have no life, and I'm not saying you do either, but you guys are in the same location, and you can say they're just making a bunch of left turns around a big ass oval. And that's true, but there's lots of positioning and strategy and all of that, like we always talk about behind it. But the races have been phenomenal. The culture's phenomenal. And look, it's a 4-hour excuse to go have some beer and wings with some buddies. Do you have to watch every last second? No, you got to get up and piss. You got to order more wings. You're talking to Brenda, who you shouldn't because she's not your wife, but she's your server. And you're doing this weird thing. But you've got 4 hours of fun. So go hang out and enjoy it because it really is cool, and it's one of the most American things we got. So I think you're right. I think it's we're going to be okay. It's going to be a little scary, a little dicey after NHL and NBA are done, which is coming up soon. We're going to talk about that next. But I love that. I love that. They're going to be at the Firekeepers Casino 400 in Michigan this week, Brooklyn, Michigan specifically, 3 p.m. on Prime. I'm putting it out there right now. It's on Prime. I guess they're doing Prime most of June. So don't be the idiot that I was this weekend and be like, NASCAR's off this weekend. No, no, they're on. They're just on Prime. Okay. By the way, Kyle Whittingham, K. Whitty, K-Dog, Whit Money, whatever you want to call him, one of the greatest humans ever, one of the greatest coaches in the history of mankind in all sports, University of Michigan football coach. He's not coached a game there yet, but I'm giving him all those accolades. He got to drive an Indy car in Michigan. Did you see that? Any clips of that this weekend? Like, the dude's just a baller. Like, he is. He plays hockey. He's driving Indy cars. He's like shouting and screaming. The announcers are asking him questions as he's doing it, and he can't hear a damn word. So they have like this broken conversation. That's not great. But it was pretty sweet. I was jealous. Like, I want to go drive an Indy car.
Have you done the NASCAR experience or the IndyCar experience yet?
No, I've not. But I really want to.
Dude, several years ago, I had the opportunity to do it down at Homestead, and I'm telling you, if they would have had my credit card as I was going around the track, I'd say keep swiping it, because for people who could see chaos clearly, going out and doing that, the way that they did it is they spaced the cars apart. So you're in a car by yourself doing it, and you're on the inside. And on the outside, they also have other cars going around that have professional racers in it with somebody in the passenger seat so they can get that feel for speed. And then you have a spotter talking to you, when to get on the gas, when to come off the gas, when to brake. And it just, the whole world is moving faster than you can imagine. But for me, somehow everything felt just normal and natural. And it was very, nice hearing somebody talk to me and say, get on the gas. Okay, you're coming up on another vehicle, come up to the right of it. And when you get into the turn, duck back down in front of it. You'll have plenty of room. It was one of the greatest times that I've had doing something like that.
That sounds awesome. I want to do it. That brings up a question for me that I've always had in my head. I'm going to take us on a weird tangent here. So we get to do lots of different cool driving training in my old job. You're doing tons of speed stuff, J-turns and all the different stuff. You're doing like basically racetracks for time and competing, which is more just kind of for fun, but it does work in the skills of taking turns at high speeds and all these things. You're ramming vehicles. You're driving through vehicles. You're doing all this crazy stuff. You're driving blindfolded at points at high rates of speed and then having to react to things. But there's this one drill that I still just don't really get. So we're going around a track, and it's basically that portion of the track was mostly oval-esque. It was not completely, but it was mostly traditional that. And they had all the drivers, all the officers from our organization in there with their person, but you had to like hug each other within basically like an inch in between each car. And we're talking 12 cars, so maybe like 4 rows of 3. And you're just doing that, just stay close like that. I still it was fun and it's exhilarating because you're at high rates of speed. You're doing that in razor thin margin of error. If something goes wrong, it's a big pile up. Probably putting some stars on the wall. But okay. I was like, what situation is this that we're going to be in? Are we going to Dover next weekend? Yes. I hope so. Anyways, I thought it was weird.
Drew, you would absolutely love it with somebody who has the OCD that you have, and then being able to spot the lines on the track and then hitting those lines each time. You would be totally obsessed by it. You would never come off the track because once you see the lines, you can't unsee them, and you'll be obsessed by trying to hit those every single time you take a lap.
I want to do it so bad. Once we're in a groove again with this show, we need to do a Balls and Banter one, and then eventually there's going to be a Balls and Banter car, and it's going to be like the equivalent of the Mellow Yellow car from Days of Thunder. It's going to be out on the track. What's that cool black and white logo and yellow logo? That's Balls and Banter, bitches. And we got to figure out who's going to drive it.
We'll find the next Cole Trickle.
Yes, we will. I heard they're doing another one of those. I don't know if it's true or not. That's a big tease, and I don't know how you do it without Robert Duvall. Rest in peace, you glorious son of a bitch. But I heard that they were going to do another one. Okay, switching from racing, there is a race this weekend. As I said, it's in Michigan, 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget it's on Prime. You should watch it. It's an American thing to do. Pop some beers. Go do it. Stanley Cup Final is set. as we all know at this point, we didn't get to talk about it last week, but we've got the Las Vegas Knights, the Carolina Hurricanes. They go at it starting in game 1 tonight, 8 p.m., ABC. Such an amazing time. The NHL, I mean, you see those two teams there, and these guys have both, the Knights caught fire at the right time. The Hurricanes had a great year, have been great throughout the playoffs, dipped at the very, very beginning of the Eastern Conference Finals, then just returned to their former form and have been outstanding. Someone's going to walk away with this majestic, glorious cup that comes, as I've been told, full of steak and meat, both raw and medium rare. It's you don't see it always on the broadcast, but it's in there. There's meat in there. I'm so pumped about tonight. Like, I'm not trying to race through the show and be done with you guys. I love the audience. I love everyone who's here. Thank you for being here. Please hit that like button. But 8 p.m. tonight, I will be ass firm on couch, having an adult beverage, watching the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1, because I'm absolutely pumped for it. Who do you guys have tonight? Nate, what are you thinking? It's Game 1. Both teams looking really hot. Like, what's your call tonight?
That's the tough thing, is both teams are as hot as each other. They're just both ripping. Because Carolina won 4 straight, right? They lost the first 2, or was it?
They lost the first one for sure. Yeah, no, I think it was. I don't know. That's actually, I'm going to pull it up while we're talking. I think that they might have won freaking 4 straight. Like they got hot as shit.
I'm going to go Golden Knights though. That's going to be my pick.
Okay.
They're just playing like bosses, and they've had a few days rest now. So, but that can always be a bad thing. We've seen before. So, but I'm going to go with the Golden Knights tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to go with Carolina, and I think it's going to be relatively low scoring. I'm going to go 3-2 Carolina, but in the end, I think the Golden Knights are going to pull out Lord Stanley's cup.
Lord Stanley. We have a no pull-out policy around here, Tom. We've talked about this. It was 4-1, Nate. The Hurricanes lost that first game, came back and won 4 straight.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I tend to think that going and just literally sweeping and curb stomping the Colorado Avalanche, who was the best team throughout the year, and you could say like it's a curse if you win the President's Cup, like the President's Trophy, but and there's legitimate reasoning behind that. Sometimes you don't want to. It's so impressive what Vegas did, and yet the Hurricanes had not lost a playoff game going into the series against Montreal. They lose the one game, had been on a break, and then they just come back on a tear. I mean, they won their final game 6-1. I got to think, especially tonight, they're in Carolina, right? I think they're in Carolina tonight.
Did Carolina only lose 1 playoff game?
Yes, they only lost 1 playoff game.
So they're 12-1.
Yeah. So I think being in Carolina, as hot as they are, I'm cheering for Vegas because, as I've said, I just for some reason don't want Carolina to have nice things. The Panthers and the Hurricanes. I love UNC. I love several things in North Carolina. I love the state of North Carolina. I kind of think that the Hurricanes pull off this first win. If they don't, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But this is one of the toughest things to pick in a while, because both teams are coming into the Stanley Cup final so hot that I would never put money on a game tonight. I don't feel confident enough about it whatsoever.
Yeah, I might switch my pick actually. My gut's telling me Carolina. I'm just rooting for Vegas, so I think that's why I went with it. But yeah, I'm going with Carolina. They just keep rolling, but Vegas gets it back, takes game 2.
Okay. And then
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I gotta dig out my Golden Knight bobblehead. Nate and I went to a game in Vegas on bobblehead night. We both got bobbleheads.
Yeah,
dig it out.
I gotta pull it out. Yeah.
Get yourself a bucket of chicken. Do all the Pedro Serrano stuff. Take a snake and paint something in your hotel room there. So we got that. That's going to be awesome. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern, ABC. Check it out, guys. The NHL playoffs. If you're missing out on it, please don't miss out on the Stanley Cup Finals. NHL playoffs are the bomb. They're so freaking good. I think less good, but still good, and I'm still excited about it. And I'm excited that they're rotating. We got tonight, Tuesday, 8 p.m. NHL Game 1. Tomorrow, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. You got Knicks going to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. First time, as we talked about, since '99 that the New York Knicks are in the finals. I didn't realize it had been this long. You kind of like picture some of their years. And I'm going to show you another interesting graphic here in a minute, but you picture some of the Ewing years and some of the great teams they had over time. 53 years though since they won. 27 since they've been in the finals. 53 since they've won the whole damn thing. San Antonio, obviously, with the Duncans of the world and under the Popovich era, they had a lot of success there. So it's first time since 2014 that they're back in the finals, but they had a good run. This would be their 6th title if they were to pull it off in franchise history. But that starts tonight. Who do you got Game 1 there, Nate? You're an NBA guy.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about Game 1. I'd always been thinking about the whole series.
We'll start that way. Who do you have for the whole series?
I got the Spurs.
Okay.
Spurs going, especially Mitchell Robinson's out for the year, and then it seemed like yesterday they were talking like there's a chance he comes back, but how good will he be?
With the pinky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you could play with a broken finger like that. Like, I mean, you use your hands for the ball. Like, there's no way around that,
Yeah.
So, if he's out, definitely the Spurs. Game one, I might say Knicks.
Okay.
I hadn't given that much thought because I feel like it's either going to be 4-1 or 4-3, the Spurs. Like, I think if the Knicks can pull 2, they can end up pulling 3. But I could also see them only sneaking out 1 win, and then they can't really get over the hump. They don't have an answer really for Wemby, especially Mitchell Robinson out. But
yeah, so damn hot, but you lose your big guy. Like, that's a big deal. For sure. Yeah, and playing in San Antonio, that crowd is super dialed in. They've done a really good job with the culture there, even though they've stolen multiple chants. They've stolen the Packers slogan and our school. Like, they just stay this, like, they were like, what's everyone in the NFC North for football doing? Let's just do their things. But that aside, they're a really good team. They've got a good culture and vibe going there right now. I got to think that they win Game 1. If they don't, I think that they go on a tear and curb stomp the shit out of the Knicks the rest of the way, just in spite. But
to see it.
Okay, so
I don't know. You know what? Talking about curses, Danhausen put the curse on San Antonio, so
when did he do that?
He did it on SportsCenter.
Oh, I didn't see that. Damn, what a fool.
And his curses in the NBA playoffs have been spot on. He curses the Knicks, he lifts it. He then curses the Cavs, the Knicks destroy the Cavs. I don't know. There's something about this Danhausen character. We have no affiliation with WWE. We just love WWE and watch it and support them. He's an interesting character, and somehow the curse seems to be real. So
yes,
people are like, "Who are you talking about?" Just go watch him. I tell you what, man, he's a short expiration, short shelf life character in WWE, but he's been a fascinating and he's a funny, entertaining character.
Yeah, he's very. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, I think he lasts. He's got good humor. He's not gonna wrestle every pay-per-view or like have some weird gimmick every pay-per-view, but I think he's enough entertainment without taking enough airtime that they'll keep him in the mix.
Well, that's the thing about like him and R-Truth. Like, you don't need to put him in the ring. Like, you put him every once in a while, you do. But we're talking about 2 minutes or less, really about 60 seconds of a backstage interview, and everyone laughs and is happy about it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He's great comic relief to have in there. He's I consider him to be like cilantro. You just need a little sprinkle of it, and then you're good to go. If you have too much of it, it's going to wreck whatever you're eating.
I don't know. I mean, here's the one thing I'll agree on. You need cilantro. I love cilantro. You can go overboard with anything, whether it's cilantro, Coke, alcohol. Like, dial it in. You shouldn't do Coke at all. Like this, but the other stuff, moderation is key. By the way, I've never done that. That came out of my mouth, and that sounds terrible. NBA champion since 1985. So this graphic I thought was really interesting. Obviously, the Knicks, it's been 53 years, 27 since they've been there. It's been since 2014 for the Spurs, as you can see on that graphic. But isn't it? I mean, it's not interesting because we've kind of seen and experienced this over the years. But when you look at this graphic, it's all the same damn teams from 1985. Like, there's been so little, and that's part of the reason where, I don't love what Adam Silver's done. Some people do. That's fine. Like, you can like whatever you like. You can marry a goat for all I care. I don't care what you do. But I've not been a big fan of him ever since all the Ferguson stuff happened and then the St. George, Floyd stuff happened. I think the NBA has gone mostly the wrong direction. I also just think fundamentally on the floor, some of the, the defense has gone. Some of the kind of basketball that we grew up with in the 80s is different. But it's always been, I mean, you look at it, like, obviously you had the Lakers, Celtics, you had the Pistons, the Bulls who had a run. You had the Olajuwon years with the Rockets. The Lakers always coming back into it. The Pistons again there. You've got the Lakers, the Celtics again. The Spurs have had their runs. You had the Curry years where Golden State and their douche nozzle of a coach have had their run. There's very few exceptions there. You look in there, obviously the Bucks have some time. The Raptors have some time. Like the Nuggets have a window. OKC last year, who's obviously, out but had a great year this year. But isn't it wild? Like, when you look back, dating all the way back to 1985, there's not that many teams that are in the mix all the time. I think that's an astonishing graphic.
That is, and it was David Stern who once famously said, when asked about the NBA championships, he said, "I wish it would be a championship game, the Lakers versus the Lakers." That meaning that, you have your second biggest TV market playing each other. Yeah.
Well, and you did. I mean, growing up, like, it was always Lakers, Celtics. You had there was a while there where you had they're not on the graphics, they didn't win. But you'd have, like, Bulls, Jazz. Like, you had, like, there was, like, I feel like the NBA's always been this way. There's a few teams who are going to be in the conference finals, and you feel pretty good about being the NBA champion, and the rest are just there. And lately we've seen the trend where they're playing for, trying to put themselves in position for draft picks. Like, either we're the top few teams or we're not. I think there is a little bit more parity now than there was throughout this entire window. But there's still not a ton. But, man, that to me, that graphic is a damning graphic for the NBA. I love some of those eras that are at the bottom part of the screen there. But it's like, can we get some different champions in here for the love of Pete?
Right? Like the Charlotte Hornets or Orlando Magic?
I mean, the Magic have been there a few times, but, yeah, they never brought it home.
Right.
How many different teams did I count? 14? I thought I counted 18, but I think that's too many. 14 in like 30 years. I mean, basketball had always kind of been a game, a little bit of like, if you got the best player on the floor, you're going to, like, that team usually wins. And when you look at those teams, those 80s Lakers teams were stocked.
Yeah.
The Celtics, I mean, the Bulls had the greatest player of all time. And then Scottie Pippen and, all that supporting cast. The bad boy Pistons were pretty tough. The 2004 Pistons, so that was the last team to ever win without a superstar, really. It was kind of like all these veteran guys. They had Ben Wallace, who was the defensive player of the year and, was a rebound hog. But other than that, they were all just, a solid team all around.
Yeah.
So that one was good. And then, you got the Shaq, Kobe Lakers. You got Tim Duncan, David Robinson on the Spurs, and then Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, like all these guys. You got the LeBron titles in there. The Mavericks one was impressive, winning with Dirk.
Yeah, no, that was.
The Raptors, the great move with Kawhi. I think we brought that up last episode. So
I mean, that's the one that stands out the most. Like, you look at that one, and then 2021 with the Bucks. Like, those two are like some of the biggest outliers. Where you're like, these don't make sense when you look at the grand picture. They do in the case of the year itself, but like, I mean, look at the Bulls three-peating twice. Yeah,
baby. They should do that every year. Give it to them every year. As far as Tom's comment about the Lakers and David Stern, you got to remember he was the one who cock-blocked them from getting Chris Paul back in the day. And he may have kind of screwed the Pelicans franchise in the process by not letting them, trade Paul and get a bounty back. But he shut it down. It was controversial. I still think it's controversial. But it was almost to kind of, stiff the Lakers more than it was anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like David Stern's look a lot more than Adam Silva. Adam Silva doesn't look like he's from this planet. David Stern looked like maybe he was like a Russian, foreign minister or something.
Nate, you'll like this. I've always been, last couple of episodes, I've been bringing up William Friedkin in his movies. Well, William Friedkin in his autobiography talks about his friendship with Red Auerbach, and I can't remember the owner of the Celtics back in the 70s, but at some point the owner offered William Friedkin a buy-in for the Celtics for like $1.5–2 million for 10% of the franchise, but under the provision that William Friedkin would have to run the franchise, and so he passed on it. That was in 1978. 1979, enter Bird and Magic into the NBA. So when he talk about, in his biography, he talks about, or his autobiography, he talks about, one of the biggest regrets he has is not taking the 10% of the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. I think anytime you can buy into a sports team, you do it. Like, there's never been a sports team that sells for less money than what it was bought for. It's always going up and it's always making money.
That's literally my goal in life. I would do anything to not get dicked over by YouTube anymore and all these different platforms, which I'm not saying as a woe is me. I'm just saying they're terrible people. But I would give anything to get back to having the kind of money to just can I have 0.25% of your franchise? I don't have to attend meetings. Ideally, I don't. But it would just be that would be so freaking amazing. I also love. There's a commercial out right now. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, that has some small little clips from Larry Bird in his era. I mean, what an amazing player! What an unimpressive looking player that is yet so impressive. I mean, you watch, Larry Bird was so damn good. I grew up watching him. And then you see clips and the things he does, impressive. But you look at him and you even kind of look at just his mobility and things not that impressive. But one of the most impressive players it's kind of an anomaly where you're how is this dude so good? How is he so pale? Has he never gone on vacation with any of his fortune? But he's just outstanding. Man, the dude was good.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Joker a little bit. He just kind of lumbers down the court. He looks like he still has his baby fat, but he's, one of the greatest players of all time.
He is. Yeah, Joker's a very unimpressive looking human.
Yeah, and the Joker's always talking trash, just the same way Bird did.
That's true.
I love hearing these clips of players who played in the era of Bird talking about how he'll come back from a timeout and say, okay, they're going to set a screen for me here, and I'm going to go to that corner right there and hit the three, and we're going to win this game. And he would end up doing it.
Dude was a baller. Straight up baller. Okay, so to the NFL we go. NHL starts tonight. Stanley Cup playoffs start tonight. Tomorrow night, NBA, and then it just rotates. Praise Jesus. We've got one. It sucks that we don't have two things each night, but we got one each night for the next little stretch here. Hopefully these go more than 4 games just for entertainment value. But there's a lot of entertaining stuff going on in the NFL this week. Particularly, we're going to start with the New York Football Giants because keep in mind, you've got one of the top young upcoming quarterbacks in Jaxson Dart there, who we're going to talk about in a little bit here. You've got Malik Neighbors, who was out, but is a stud receiver, young receiver. You've got Cam Scattaboo, who's had like 48 concussions in the last week, just ramming his head against brick walls, but is an absolute beast. He's like honestly, Cam Scattaboo is one of the most encouraging things in the last 5 years in my mind that shows that America is healing. He just has that aura about him. It's like he's a star. He deserves to be a star, and I think we're going to be okay because he's a star, and the dude is he's just rough around the edges, and I love everything about it. So they've got some good pieces, all that to say. They get John Harbaugh, who the Ravens foolishly let go in the offseason. So they get a great coach coming in there, something that the New York Giants need. And then, so you've got this young receiver, and you've got all this promise in this quarterback. What do? They go out and they add like 400 receivers to the receiver room for Jaxson Dart, starting with former New York Giants standout Odell Beckham Jr., who's obviously further into his career. He's not the OBJ from his Giants days, but he's a resourceful veteran to have in the locker room on the field. He's coming back. Doesn't end there. They're also picking up JJ Smith-Schuster, who was most recently with the Chiefs. They've added a couple other players. So Jaxson Dart has Cam Scattaboo in the backfield, Malik Neighbors, OBJ, you got Juju. And in fact, let's just throw up the whole receiver room right now as it stands for the New York Giants, because it's big. Like, this isn't going to last forever, but you can see all the dudes that are on there, and it's freaking insane. Like, just thinking about so they bring in Braxton Berrios too. They bring in Darnell Mooney from the Falcons. Those guys all up top. So the ones that I just mentioned all up top. You've got Kelvin Austin the third, who's also new. You've got Malachi Fields, also new. They brought in Xavier Gibson, down in that last row, new. Malik Neighbors, your young standout, one of the main ones. Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Jalen Hyatt, and Bo Collins. So some that you don't know about, some that you don't need to know about. But the point is they've got 12 receivers in this room, including some crafty, talented veterans to help a young Malik Neighbors, a young quarterback. I mean, like, they have gone out and done some things on offense there in New York. Do I think that they have the best receiver group in the league? No, I do not. I think the Minnesota Vikings, I think that the Bengals, I think there's a couple other teams that have some really strong rooms. But this is impressive. Like, it does show like we're doing things different under this new John Harbaugh era, and we're trying to give Jaxson Dart some tools and resources that he needs to go be successful.
Yeah. I'm not as high on all these moves as you are. OBJ, I mean, he wasn't even in the league last year. Like, I'm going to be shocked if he makes the team. But, I mean, they didn't sign him for no reason. So I guess they think there's still some tread on the tires. I think Darnell Mooney's good still. I think he could be very productive. Juju Smith, you know what you're getting. You're going to get a guy who's going to go over the middle, catch it, and immediately hit the ground so he doesn't get popped, which is fine because you can count on him. He makes the catches. Right. So that's not terrible, but it is kind of weird. He's kind of had a hard time finding a place the past few seasons.
He has. He's not a superstar anymore. Him and OBJ, neither of which are stars anymore.
Right. But I think you still get something out of Juju Smith for sure. Calvin Austin he almost seems more like a punt return guy or so. Like, he's always been a wide receiver 3, you know. He's there. Malachi Fields is an interesting rookie prospect. His measurables are great, just tall, fast, but he's already like 26, or is it 24? Like, he's very old, and it's just like when you count this, he could be good. Malik Neighbors, you know, obviously great, but that knee injury was gnarly last year.
Oh, it was gnarly, yeah.
And they still don't think he's going to be ready for week 1 even. And I think didn't that injury happen like week 3? So it's like it
was like, pretty early. They lost. I mean, they got devastated early in the year.
Yeah. So hopefully he can come back because he's an electrifying player. It'd be great to see what he can do. that he's clearly the ceiling there. Darius Slayton, he's been around. He makes some big home run catches down the field, but definitely not a wide receiver one. I've gambled it on fantasy many seasons that he's going to step up, and he never does. Jalen Hyatt's been there a minute. Isn't he like is he a converted quarterback? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't even know. Like, honestly, I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, he's young. I think this might be his third year or something. He's never really taken off. So I kind of feel a lot of these signings are kind of grasping at straws a little bit there.
No, I think you're right.
Surely two of these guys will be good, and surely two of them are rosterable.
Well, I think you bring in some veteran presence. Like, I agree with you. OBJ is not like, look, if this was OBJ from the Giants when he was there the first time, it's a home run. I think that, Malik, when he's healthy, is obviously your number one. Mooney's your number two. Juju and Berrios are your 3-4 guys, presuming OBJ's not up to snuff. And the rest are just filler. Like, the rest are filler. And keep in mind, too, there's 12 receivers on the room there. Like, you're like wiping out other positions if not all these guys are going to make the roster. So
no way.
Like, that's it's like let's just get a bunch of dudes and see who can make up our top six.
Right. It's like a dessert buffet. It's like, what's gonna pair the best with my main meal? And I think a lot depends on Malik Neighbors and his health going into week one of who they choose. If he's 100%, I think, if he's 100% and is ready to go, like you were saying, obviously he's number one. You got Smith-Schuster in there. Those would be my two, it just going into the season. But if he's not, I think now is the process for the Giants to say, okay, who can we fill in there until he's 100%?
Well, I think it's smart too. Like, again, I'm not saying I think this was like the most miraculous thing ever. I think it's wild that they've signed so many receivers. Like, at a certain point, you look at the GM and you're like, say what? Like, we're signing another one? Like, so I think that they've overdone it a little bit here. But you look at last year and how riddled with injuries they were. If your fill-in guys when someone goes down are Juju and OBJ and some of these other guys, whichever ones make the roster, they're better than throwing in, not necessarily always, but they have the potential to be a better stopgap veteran presence in the event of injuries. You got to go with the younger, more talented stars. But I think, to me, it's not they've solved it and the Giants are going to win the NFC East. That's not what I'm saying. I just think it's crazy how freaking aggressive they've been on, like, let's get Jaxson Dart some people. Like, there's got to be someone in the organization who's like, we don't need to get him that many people.
Right. We need to get him some offensive linemen to really help him and be a better move.
Yeah.
But,
right.
I'm excited about Malachi Fields. I'm excited to see how he turns out because he's a big-bodied guy who could be great. But, like, it's also like, why did it take you so long to, like, get out of college? And you were never really a huge star there. But, like,
does he say Malachi or is it Malachi?
Malachi, sorry.
Oh, I just wasn't sure. Like, I'm not making fun of you. Like, you said Malachi a couple times, and I was like, son of a bitch, I've been saying his name wrong.
No, I think Malachi sounds sexier. Like,
it's better. It's better. It also sounds like it could be like a fun Middle Eastern food that tastes good. Maybe it gives you diarrhea later. That's the exciting part, though. Like, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so speaking of Jaxson Dart, he's got all these tools, he's got all these weapons. As you might recall, we were going to talk about this last week, and then the stuff hit the fan, and we didn't have an episode Thursday. But there's been lots of drama because he recently took part in an event where he introduced President Trump at an event in New York. He's obviously a large figure in New York. He's the quarterback for the New York Football Giants, so that's a prominent thing. So a lot of people loved it, a lot of people hated it. And there's been all this drama, which I think is just so dumb. Like, who gives a shit whether he likes Trump, doesn't like Trump? He's not even saying he likes Trump or doesn't like Trump. He just introduced the guy. Everyone induced all their own ideas and took away all their thoughts on it. But I thought that he had some, we may listen to the whole thing, we may not, but I thought he had some good comments on there because he's been torn apart in the media just for introducing the president of the United States. His comments here for a young quarterback I thought were pretty just responsible, reasonable, whatever term you want to use. Take a listen to Jaxson Dart on the whole matter here.
Appreciate y'all being here. I understand that there's probably going to be questions that involve off the field topics, and for that I have a statement, and I hope I can answer as many of those questions that y'all may have. And I ask that can talk about football after that, and I hope that we can understand and respect that from each other. Obviously this was a unique opportunity. Being asked and given the opportunity to introduce the President of the United States. My thinking was pretty simple, in the fact of I've always loved this country. I have extended family members who have fought in wars. I have 2 uncles who have retired from the Air Force Academy and served themselves. And I even have a great-grandfather who served as Secretary of Treasury at some point. So the president position has always been a position that I've well respected, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of political party. And my intentions were just that. I also understand in this world, politics can be a sensitive matter, a sensitive topic. I also understand that I am the quarterback of the New York Giants, and that involves a lot of responsibility. It's under a limelight, under a microscope, and there's a lot that comes with that, and it's been something that I've embraced. I've loved being here. I've loved the city of New York. I love the city of New Jersey, the people that I've met here. It's just been a really amazing experience, and there's not another place that I'd rather be. Most importantly, the people in this organization, my teammates, the staff, the coaches, everybody that has a hand, Jose, you name it. I've loved making relationships with them and growing connections, and that's the kind of person that I am. I'm a connector. I love making relationships with people. I love hearing everybody's stories and being somebody who people can rely on to be there for them. And most importantly, I can honestly say that I love every single one of my brothers, my teammates on this team, regardless of politics, regardless of religious beliefs, regardless of anything that may be different between us. Like, I love them, and they know exactly what kind of person that I am, who comes into the facility every day, and who lays, I lay my body on the line for my guys each and every week. And it's from the connections that we build, the love that we have for each other. And I've been somebody who's always respected, the different perspectives that people may have, the backgrounds that they come from. I understand that, we have such a cool opportunity as people, to be in a locker room where it's a melting pot of people from everywhere, and we get to be together. I think that the connections that we build are special because, we're able to have vulnerable conversations. We're able to learn from each other, to support each other, irrespective of the color of our skin. And, we have a real brotherhood. We've had a lot of honest conversations with each other as a team, and I like to keep those things private between me and my teammates, and just everything that's been said. But I love these guys, and going forward, I can't wait for what more we have to grow. The culture of this team, our brotherhood, and obviously we understand the biggest goal is to be the best team that we can be, to put ourselves in the best position to succeed, to chase a championship, to be the best players for Coach Harbs and all the coaches here. And that's our focus going forward each and every day, and can't wait to continue to do that. Appreciate you guys.
All right, so I love it. because it's really true. Like, everyone's been like, well, how do you think your teammates feel about the fact that you introduced the president? Like, look, guys, I don't know where he stands politically. I assume he's probably on our side. But you get a chance to introduce the president of the United States, be involved. You get invited to the White House. Regardless of who's there, you do it. If you respect and love this country. I've met presidents on the other side of the aisle that I disagree with. Have I said, no, I'm not going? No, you go because it's a respectful thing to do. And there is no place like a football locker room, because you've got people from inner city. You've got people from the sticks, the boondocks, like the most redneck of redneck. You've got, like, you just blend it all together and you have a common purpose. And I thought the way he handled that was done really well. There's going to be people out there, certainly in the leftist media, that disagree. That's fine, whatever, don't care. But, like, I think he handled it really well. I think that Jaxson is positioning himself to just continue to be a level up and a bigger and bigger star in this league, because I think he's handled that well. I think he played really well on the field last year, including losing a bunch of his key offensive players. I thought that was good. I don't know what y'all's take was, but I'll shut up and let you say something.
I think his response was great. I think the story's over with. And who was the player that initially brought it up? Abdul or Armand, or what was his name? The defensive player from the Giants who had a problem with it.
I didn't know anybody brought it up. I hadn't heard about this. So.
Yeah, this whole controversy started by one of his teammates, Abdul. Anyways.
Was it Carter? Was it on? It doesn't matter.
Carter? Abdul Carter?
One of their Abdul Carter. It was Abdul Carter.
It was Abdul Carter. Yeah. When I first heard this in Abdul Carter's response to him introducing Trump, it reminded me a lot of what was going on with Colin Kaepernick back in 2015. And I was wondering to myself, all right, so Carter didn't have, the greatest season. He's kind of been a disappointment, as far as a draft pick goes. Is he seeking some sort of relevancy through the sort of social justice space, even though I think for a lot of us, and I think for the culture, the American culture in general, that whole sort of social justice warrior thing is kind of, outdated a little bit. And it seems like where we are as a country, and as far as, especially with sports fans, it's like, this doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. Let's just move on with it. Unlike, with Colin Kaepernick,
right?
Which, you could say what you want to about it. I've said this many times, and I will continue to say it. The whole thing with Colin was contrived because he was trying to sell a reality show. And why do I know this? Because I know the producer who was trying to sell it. Colin was not going to be the starting quarterback. His body was beat up. He was benched, and he needed some form of relevancy. And that is what I think is going on, or was kind of precipitated Abdul Carter to feel like he had to come out and say what he said. So I think it was brand building on his part, and I think it just kind of fizzled because I don't think anybody's onto it. And when I say that I was, knew what was going on behind the scenes with Colin, there's a reason why when he first started sitting down during the national anthem in the very first press conference that we saw with him, he was wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt. I called my friend who was developing the show with him, and I told him the backstory behind Che Guevara and how Che Guevara felt about black people and what he had written about them, and said that's probably not the way to go. And that's when the whole theme of, police brutality became the main narrative for Colin Kaepernick. So yes, that whole thing was contrived, and this whole thing, I was getting the same sort of Kaepernick whiff from it. I don't know what he has on the table. I'm not saying he's trying to, sell a reality show. I'm just saying that I think that Abdul Carter was more into brand building than he was actually being, offended by, what Jaxson Dart did.
Possibly, but I will say this, Abdul Carter's good. Colin Kaepernick, when that was happening, Colin Kaepernick was losing his job. He was becoming irrelevant. So there's an obvious reason or justification for the play there to go social justice warrior for financial reasons, for publicity reasons, whatever. Abdul Carter's good. Like
he's good, but I don't think he's lived up to the expectations a lot of people had for him when he was drafted.
Fair. Maybe that's fair. What say you, Nate?
He finished the season strong last year. I actually drafted him in a dynasty fantasy league this year to kind of give him a shot because he finished strong. He started out slow. Arena now he only had a half a sack and 1 tackle for a loss through 12 games, but he had a half a sack in all the games in December. So, he picked it up. He finished 5th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. So, he's still young. He's still got another year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and just looking at it real quick, like Ryan Carter says that what Abdul Carter taught him was like by doing that it makes conversations happen, and it's true. But it's honestly like, why don't you just have that conversation in the locker room?
Right.
Like, did he tweet this or did he say this at a press conference?
I think he tweeted it first, then addressed it in a press conference.
Okay, so it's just like, why are you doing that? Why not just address it with your teammate? Like,
this is all locker room stuff to handle.
Right. Not everything has to be public, especially in a team setting. That's where I fall on this,
and especially politics and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of weird. I mean, Jaxson Dart handled it well because again, he's put in that position of just like that golfer who had to like kind of give a statement about it or something. It's just kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So you just have to. That's the neutral, not really a cop out answer, but that's the neutral answer. It's just like, oh, he's the president, so I just respect the title, and so I do it. And that's kind of like the neutral, like stay in your lane. Like I'm not going to be a symbol for either side.
Right. I like it. I think it's the way to do it. I like what they're doing there. Again, we talked about the receivers they've added. Are any of them like absolute ballers at this stage in their career? No.
Are there some great moves? They've made some great moves this offseason. You'd still like to see a better offensive line, but they've made some other great moves.
They definitely have. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles have traded A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. So they lose Stephon Diggs in the offseason, and they gain Romeo Doubs in his big-ass Guardian cap that he wears, which is totally gay, but is a good player. And now they've added A.J. Smith, who obviously had some time with Mike Vrabel during their days in Tennessee together. So that was one big move that happened. And then the next big move here was Myles Garrett, who obviously didn't want to be in Cleveland, I don't know anyone who does want to be in Cleveland. I love their uniforms, but it's just a tough spot to win, man. A tough spot to win. And I'm a Vikings fan, and I'm saying that. At least Cleveland, you don't expect to win. Like, we expect to win and then just have a dagger stuffed into our heart. But he's traded to the Los Angeles Rams. They get versed. They get some picks in Cleveland. The Rams going all in and building this roster saying, hey, we want to win right now. So we're doing this. I thought that was interesting. Obviously, he's a big pickup. He's a good player. I think he's 30, if I'm not mistaken, years old. So he's getting up there for, defensive ends, but he still has some. I mean, he had a great year. I think he had 20-plus sacks last year, like 23, if I'm not mistaken.
It was 22, and but I got to say, kind of an asterisk there because he had 5 against the Patriots, which 5 in any game is just an outlier, and we kind of know how the Patriots' offensive line was.
Fair
he
point.
Had 4. He had what was it? He had 3 against the Raiders, which was the worst team in the NFL, and then he had 4 against the Ravens, who also I believe was having offensive line injury issues. And, it's a division game. Either way, 4 sacks in the game is also kind of an outlier. So over half his sacks came in 3 games. So
that is a crazy stat line. That's crazy. Yeah.
So I was shocked by that the Rams would give up Jared Verse because he's probably the best interior linebacker in the game. So you're giving him up for maybe the best edge rusher in the game. Maybe second best. It kind of depends. And so you're like trading the best of one position for the best of another, but Jared Verse is only 3 years into his career.
Right, he's young. He's like 24 years old or something.
could get 9 more great seasons out of him. Like, who knows? And you're kind of training for Garrett, who's got maybe 2 or 3 left. Like, tough to say. Garrett's still a beast. You know, he still got Defensive Player of the Year, but like, I felt like they still had a good team. The window could have been open longer, and now that window's like they're all in. Like, we got 2 years left of Stafford. We got 2 of Garrett that we can like count on, and it's just like, now your window's that, and that's it. Whereas Verse, you kind of had this franchise player that could keep going, and you're giving up all those draft picks. So it's like they really like hedged the bet, but also did they improve that much by losing Jared Verse in the process of getting Myles Garrett?
That's the question I have. Well, and you're doing it in a division that's really tough. Like, the NFC West is a tough division. So, like, you've added some pieces. So have some of the other guys, and like, you still have an uphill battle, and Stafford is still in his late third. Like, he's great. I mean, obviously he had a freaking remarkable last year. It was just outstanding. And his teeth, again, like, what do you do with your teeth? Like, they're so nice, but like they're making a push for sure. And you could argue the Browns are like, well, we really do want Arch Manning or whoever next year, so like, go ahead and take this. But I agree, Jared Verse is like with the picks that they sent there, like they sent a lot to Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. A first rounder in next year, and this draft's going to be stocked, and then a second rounder the next year.
Yeah.
And it's like, the Browns made out like bandits. Like, if you look at their team, it's so young. It's got so many potential stars, but also, like, I don't know, like, is Shador really going to be an NFL quarterback? Don't know. But if they do bad this year, they'll get a shot at someone else.
Yeah.
And they've got an extra first rounder now, and it's like, now they got Verse on defense. They got Quinshon Judkins. They drafted some great young wide receivers this year. They're doing the right things. They're doing the right things.
They are. Yeah. Yeah. You got Mason Graham in the interior. There's some good things happening there. Last 2 things on the NFL. We'll be real quick. This is not a surprise. There was some consideration that Russell Wilson would go be a backup somewhere. Not really many situations where he could compete for the number 1 job. He's going to actually go and join CBS as a part of their television broadcast staff there. So not surprising. He's a handsome dude. He's a smart dude. A lot of people like him. He's going to be doing that. And then the Vikings hired finally a general manager. They went through the draft without a general manager. They had Rob Brzezinski kind of helping guide the ship, but he was not in that role in an official capacity. He did apply for it. KOC, a big part of the hiring process. But they've hired Nolan Teasley, who was the assistant GM in Seattle, who obviously has pieced together some Super Bowl last year and some great rosters, done some positive things. He's been there for a long time in a various amount of roles. So good for them. That's our NFL breakdown. I want to ask you guys, we've got a couple more things to cover, and then we're going to get out of here. Quick baseball question for you. I saw this the other day on the World Wide Web. Some of you guys call it the internet. I still think World Wide Web's more fun. But boys, I'll ask you this. What are 5 major league, and thank you to whoever, I think it was Barstool. I'm pretty sure it was Barstool who did this. 5 major league baseball teams without a city in their name. Take your time. Let me know when you're ready. Let's not blurt them out, because we'll have a person go at a time here. But there's 5 that do not have a city in their team name, and I think I missed, if I remember correctly, last week. So I was going to do this Thursday. I missed one, but I think it's a darn good question. And it makes you go through your standings in your mind. This is like doing like a Sudoku or doing a crossword puzzle or whatever. Like, it's good for your brain just to kind of give a little teaser there. So let me know when someone wants to take a stab.
The only one I can think of are the Twins.
Hell yeah, baby. That is one of them. So that's one. We can do it
4.
together. Okay. So Nate.
I had the Twins.
Okay.
See, I've got the Florida Marlins, the Texas Rangers, the Washington Nationals, Minnesota Twins, and I just wrote Nationals down when we started doing this, so I haven't had time to think of my 5th.
So Washington, interesting. They're not on. I think that you could make an argument for that. They're not on the list of 5 that I have, because it's
Yeah,
it's technically it's a city slash it's not really a state, but the Marlins
you could make the case that it's its own country,
right? Yeah, or hell itself, one of the two. But the Marlins, the Twins, definitely on there. I forget if you said anyone else other than them in the Nationals.
Rangers.
Yes. Okay, you said them. So that's 3. Those are 3. There are 2 remaining on this list.
Yeah. The Diamondbacks, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes, sir. 1 to go. Stay out west. Stay out that way.
West.
Pop a cold one.
Oh, yeah, the Rockies.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those are your 5 teams. I thought it was a fun little question. Got my brain going the other day.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. Some people were putting in DC. Some people were putting in New York. So it's like, well, technically it's not New York City. It's New York, but it's really New York City. So those are the 5 teams: Florida Marlins, Minnesota Twins, Colorado Rockies, Arizona Diamondbacks, Texas Rangers. There's your little brain twister for the day, as if we give that all the time. But it is fun when we do. So,
That's fun.
Okay. The college football playoff in the sports networks. By the way, ESPN seems to be selling off some of their spots, but they've announced the dates for the college football playoff this year. And I got to tell you, you can see it on the screen there. So the first round, the on-campus round, which again, I think there should be more on-campus games, but the first round is December 18th and 19th. 3 games on the 19th, 1 on the 18th. And you're like, that sounds right. That sounds about right. And it does. Quarterfinals. Skip through Christmas. And this kind of makes sense, too. I don't like the gap. But you've got a December 30th game. I don't know why they're not doing New Year's Eve. That seems gay to me. But December 30th, and then 3 games on New Year's Day, January 1st, including the Rose Bowl. You've got in the quarterfinals, by the way, you've got the Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. And then you skip 2 entire weeks from January 1st until the semifinals, which is going to be the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl on January 14th and 15th. And then you skip a whole nother 10, 11 days, depending which game you're talking about from, to the national championship, which is in Allegiant Stadium out there in Vegas, which seems to get every event now, from WrestleMania 2 years in a row to you name it. But
place to be, baby.
Place to be. I tell you what, though, man, we talk about this all the time. College football is it matters more to me than it should. I love it so much. But we're talking about a window from December 18th to January 25th for the college football playoffs with the same amount of teams. We have not added a single team. Those gaps are ridiculous. I'm still not a 24-team proponent. I'm 14 or 16. And I think that would be great. And you condense it more. But it's not leaving you wanting more when you have those breaks. It's hard on the teams and the players to stay, keep the momentum. And it's hard on the fans, too. We want more football, not spread the football out until summer. If there was games in between in those big 2-week gaps, that's one thing. I will take it because I love college football. And I will not complain too much, but I'm going to complain a little bit because I think these gaps are absolutely asinine.
I like to savor things, but this is ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, serious? I mean, the NFL is going there. But, okay, let's say the NFL wasn't going, or let's say I grew up in an area where I didn't have, let's say I'm a Nebraska fan, right, who's probably not going to be in the playoff. No offense, Nebraska. But Lincoln and the Cornhuskers are all I got. And I don't care as much about the NFL, which I'm not saying that's how people in Nebraska feel. They have their teams they latch on to. What am I supposed to do from January 1st to January 15th, and then from January 15th to January 25th, or January 14th to 25th? I'm such a simpleton. I need to know what I'm supposed to be doing. Are we stretching? Are we doing I don't know what we do in that time.
Aren't they competing with the NFL playoffs there by the time we get to the 14th and 15th?
Oh, yeah. No, you're coming up on the damn Super Bowl by the time you get to the 25th of January.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Just to time out the championship game for the down week between the conference finals and the Super Bowl?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe you're trying to play it during the freaking Pro Bowl, which is gay now with being in flag football and, cabaret and Broadway dancers. Like, I don't know, but I feel like they're screwing this part up. Like, I feel, and if they're going to do it this way, then for anyone who's anti-expansion, I think that you should check yourself. One, because I think that there is room for a little bit of expansion, not a ton of expansion. But, let's force them to not be able to take these long breaks where we've got games every week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I guess they don't want to, split up the rounds into, 2 different weeks because it'll give the teams who played first an advantage maybe because they'll have an extra week off. Is this whole thing to give teams an extra week to heal? I don't.
Well, think about this too. If you're conference championships still exist, so you win and you're playing in even if you don't win, whatever, you're playing in the first week. I think it's the week of December 5th or 6th this year for the conference championships, if I remember correctly. You're playing the first week of December, literally damn near the very, very beginning of December. You win your conference championship. You're into the playoff. You get a bye because you're one of those top 4 teams. You're not playing at the earliest till December 30th.
No, you get a month off.
Likely the first. That's a new season, bro. That's a new season.
Oh, and who was asking for this? Nobody was clamoring man, it'd be nice to have 2 weeks off between playoff rounds. Nobody's ever said that in any league.
No, absolutely. Well, get some more time in before. I get it. You want to give your players time at Christmas to fly home, which is a logistic nightmare for teams at bowl games and playoff games because you got to do that. But you could have played 2 rounds. Anyways, I don't love the way the schedule is. Will I complain when it comes time? I'll complain about the gaps. I won't complain about the football because college football is amazing. But I don't love it off the top. And pushing that late without adding more games to me is just I
think that's what they're trying to prep us for.
Maybe so.
Get us on a new schedule, and then they're going to pump a few more games in there.
Conditioning, mental conditioning.
Well, then don't stop. Stop the just ram it in there. No foreplay, no nothing. Let's just go. Let's get to that point because I want more. Last thing on college football 27, the game by EA Sports, which is super, super fun. Fun to get involved in franchises there. It comes out this summer, which is tradition now that it's back. Thank God it's back. You've got Dante Moore from Oregon, Malachi Toney, and Kewan Lacy from Ole Miss, who are on at least one of the covers of the game. So there's that news, that game coming out. Probably not a ton of people in this audience that play that game, but it's a fun-ass game and fun for those kids to get to be on the cover of said game. So that will be coming out this summer. And then the last thing we're going to touch on, then we're getting out of here. Tom wanted to bring this up. This is kind of fun news. Zack Snyder, who's done a bunch of movies, and he's done some really good ones too. He's done some great stuff. He's obviously had some flops. Everyone does. But he's done some amazing work and takes usually an interesting take on things. He's about to direct a remake, throw it up here on the screen, of Escape from New York, which you remember if you grew up in the same era that we did. So that's coming back. No details on who's going to be in it or any of the other details that I've seen so far, but it is coming back, and we do love, and I know this audience loves nostalgia. And since no one comes up with creative new things anyways these days, let's just, I mean, honestly, and that's a bad thing, but let's just lean into it and make all the shit that we loved back in the day and make it better with new technology and new actors. Not everything needs to be rebooted, but I mean, might as well just lean into it. I think this will be fun. I think Zack Snyder, on all accounts, will probably do a pretty damn good job.
I've got high hopes for this project. Yeah, I mean, Escape from New York could stand to be updated if you've watched it recently, you know, with the technology that's in there for, you know, it came out in 81 and it takes place in 1997. So we're almost 30 years removed from the future that it was living in. There's a couple of things that I hope that Snyder nails with this. As with a lot of remakes, I kind of would like to see more of a background into Snake Plissken and his character, being this war hero of some sort, who decides to, he goes to the prison island because he robs the Federal Reserve. So I would like to see a little bit more backstory into how, he envisions the world collapsing and why Manhattan becomes this prison colony. I just hope that whoever they cast as Snake Plissken, they have somebody in the same sort of vein as Kurt Russell, where they're not the reason why I think Kurt Russell works so well as that character is because he was like everyman. He wasn't like, he didn't have like the size of like, The Rock, or at the time Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone. He just represented a very sort of fit, athletic everyman, and I think a lot of people could relate to that character. If you start casting it where you're beefing him up a little bit more, it kind of to me becomes a little bit more cartoonish and doesn't seem as authentic as a character as the original Snake Plissken. And as far as, Snake Plissken's relationship with Brain, who is played by Harry Dean Stanton, they supposedly knew each other before his Brain ended up in the penal colony and before Snake got there. So I'd like to see a little bit more explanation of how that relationship happened, pre-arrest. And I just, I was reading one article, or I saw a tweet. I think it was from Variety, and they said that Snyder was going to reimagine Escape from New York. And when I heard reimagine, I was like, uh-oh, is he planning on Cynthia Erivo as Snake Plissken? Is that the sort of reimagining that we're looking forward to? But my question to you guys is, who right now would you cast in the role of Snake Plissken, and just described on, what I see? Somebody athletic, somebody not overly juiced up with steroids, and somebody that can act, even though there wasn't that much character development with Kurt Russell in that role. Who do you think would nail that role?
That's a good question. I thought a little bit about it this morning. I never came to a conclusion because then my morning blew up. Kurt's hard to replace. I wish he was younger. I don't like all these guys getting older. He's still a young dude. He's still healthy and doing great. I'm not being ageist here. I wish he was able to play that role.
I think Glenn Powell from the Running Man remake could do it. That movie kind of missed for me. It definitely wasn't good as the original, and like the ending sucked. But
he'll be one that's considered for sure.
He was good in it
because he's not an overly impressive. I mean, he's a very fit figure, but he's not like a jacked figure. He's a I mean, you kind of look at that younger generation of like him, Miles Teller, some of those guys. I don't know, like. I think that the
Michael B. Jordan, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
The most overrated actor in Hollywood next to The Rock. I think
Ariana
Michael
Grande,
B. Jordan's
maybe
one of the worst actors ever.
Really?
Yeah. He's terrible.
I don't think he's a great actor. I don't loathe him like you do. I just don't think he's
I don't loathe him. I just think he's terrible and overrated. And I think he was forced upon us going, oh, he's great. And everyone's supposed to go, oh, yeah, he's great. And not really pay attention to his acting chops, which I don't think are there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think those two. I mean, who are the young, like, hot things in Hollywood? You've got Glenn Powell, Miles Teller, Chalamet, who doesn't really seem like he can play that. I don't think he can pull off Snake. But those two are potentials. You get a little bit older age range. Obviously you can.
How about
consider
Emil Hirsch?
I still think you could consider a Chris Pratt. I think he'd be in the mix. I don't think that you consider. I
heard Gerard Butler being thrown out.
Oh, he actually I mean, he's older, but he could be good. He's feisty in those. I love his freaking Angel Down or all the Fallen movies, whatever they are. He could be good. He's feisty. He's on the older end of what's acceptable probably for if you're gonna do, more than one film. Which I'm not saying Zack Snyder's going to. I don't know. Those are the names that come to my head, but
Well, I'm just hoping for parts that have a little bit of comedic relief in that script, being the Ernest Borgnine character as Cabby. I hope they don't go with Kevin Hart, or something in that vein where it's just a little bit too over the top. Where I think in the original Ernest Borgnine, he was comedic relief for that film, even though he ends up dying in the end, but he wasn't over the top with it.
Right.
Spoiler alert, Tom. Jeez.
What's that?
And spoiler alerts.
You never saw Escape from New York?
No, I've actually never seen it. It's just one I haven't hit.
It's a tremendous. It's one of my favorites. I remember seeing it in the movie theater. It just being mesmerized because remember the wrestler Ox Baker? He had really big eyebrows, like giant eyebrows, and he had a long goatee. And his finishing move was a heart punch, and he was said to have killed a man with the heart punch. Anyways, there's a scene in there where there's some kind of athletic competition, and Snake Plissken has to face off against Ox Baker.
All right. Well, we will see. We will see who shall be cast in said reboot of Escape from New York, and if they do anything else in that kind of world. But there is that coming up. We'll be back Thursday, barring some change that I don't foresee coming. We should be good to go for this week. Hope you guys have had fun. We've had fun. Been great covering all this stuff. Hope that you guys have a great rest of your day on Tuesday. Have a great day tomorrow. Enjoy both the Stanley Cup final tonight, the NBA Game 1, both Game 1s tomorrow night for NBA. And hit that like button. We'll see you back here Thursday. Be safe, be smart, be free.
We got balls and banter.